Does cooking a whole leg of lamb scare you? Well, don't be afraid. I'll show you how easy it really is. With just 3 little ingredients, you'll have my roast leg of lamb with mustard, rosemary, and garlic. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We show you recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, and cocktails, and we share entertaining tips. Now we try and make it simple for everyone, especially those of you out there who say that you just can't cook and entertain, because we know you really can. So if you like this episode, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and watch a new episode every single week. Today, our celebration is all about lamb. Now, Easter is just around the corner, and it's springtime and lovely. Now, many people will cook a ham for Easter, but in my family, we would always have a full leg of lamb, and that's what we're cooking today. Now, this is a full leg of lamb. This comes from Australia or New Zealand. You can get domestic lamb, but I find the lamb from New Zealand or Australia is a little better. The whole leg is on the bone. That makes it a little moister, gives it a little more flavor. You can get these on the bone or boneless. Now, a lot of people get scared by lamb. They think it's gamey or it's just too strong, and this is kind of intimidating to cook, but it's very easy. As long as you don't overcook it, you won't get that horrible gaminess that so many people complain about. So let's get started. First, I'm going to do a little prep work on this lamb. Now, it has a little bit of a fat cap here and here. I'm just going to take my knife and make some very shallow cuts through the fat itself. Not too deep, but just enough. That's going to help that fat render, and it's going to make our lamb far more flavorful. You don't have to go too deep. Okay. Now, salt and pepper. Let's flip this guy over. This is a 6.5 pound leg of lamb. So it's a pretty good sized one. First, a little salt. Okay. Right over. As always, a little bit of pepper. Always want to add flavor. Now let's flip this back. Same thing. Salt, not too much. We're putting something else on it that's going to have salt in it, but we still need a little bit. This is just going to help the layers of flavor. All right, this is done. I'm going to put this aside. We're going to let that salt start to sink into the meat. While we're doing that, let's prepare a coating for it. Very, very simple, but very classical flavors that go with lamb. So in my bowl, I'm going to start with, I have 1/3 cup of Dijon mustard right there. Everyone knows Dijon. Okay. I have 3 to 4 cloves of minced garlic that I just minced up, depending on how big the cloves are and how strong you like it. Right in. Fresh rosemary that I've chopped up. Now, what's rosemary? This is rosemary. This is what it looks like. I buy it fresh. I like fresh the best. You notice it looks like pine needles, and it's kind of related to that. So often you have these with martinis, since junipers comes from pine too. It's a very strong flavor, but it goes well with lamb and pork if you use it correctly. Sometimes you can overwhelm with it, but we're using just enough today. So the chopped up rosemary will go right in. And then we're just going to mix this up very quickly. And that was a tablespoon of rosemary, which was the needles from one of these sprigs. It's about all you need. Okay. Let's bring the lamb back. Now I'm just going to brush this coating on the lamb. So let's flip it over first. Okay. With our pastry brush, we'll just give it a light coating on this side. All right. Try and get it everywhere. Okay. A lot of people are very afraid of lamb. I made lamb a couple weeks ago for friends of ours, and what I didn't know was our one friend is, since the last time they were over, she became a vegetarian. But she ate lamb. She said she'd never had it. And she was amazed at how sweet it was. So I think if lamb can convince a vegetarian to go off the wagon, I think it's worth it. You should try it. Especially something like this. Now this is so easy. And the oven's going to do all the work for us. All right. And we always had lamb for Easter growing up. And we would have it, if it was warm like it is today, it happens to be a beautiful spring day, my father would do it out on the grill on the rotisserie, and the whole neighborhood would just smell of this slow roasting lamb with herbs and garlic. People would come over, "What are you cooking?" My mother would just demurely say, "Oh, just a little lamb, nothing fancy." All right. Look how fast that went. We're almost done. I'm going to pop in the bottom of the roasting pan head of garlic that I just cut in half. Slide that right in there. And a couple of these sprigs of rosemary. Simple. You can do it. I can do it. And here's the best part. I'm going to put in a little bit of white wine, a little bit of Chardonnay, or whatever white wine you like. This is a drier Chardonnay. I would recommend a dry white wine. Half a cup to a cup. Yeah, that looks about good. What is that going to do? That wine, while this lamb is cooking, it's going to give a moist environment, so it's going to help the lamb cook evenly. As the drippings fall down, it's going to make all those drippings brighter and more flavorful, so when I make my gravy later, I'll have that. And the alcohol will cook off in the oven. All right, speaking of oven, this guy is ready for the oven. And I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to cook this to medium to medium rare. So probably 130 to 135. If you want to go more rare, you would do 120 to 125. But I am liking it medium to medium rare. How do I know? I've got my probe thermometer. And this is the key. This goes into the lamb in a nice deep part. Gets hooked into this. This sits outside the oven, and this will tell us, this will go off when we reach that internal temperature of 130 to 135 that I'm looking for. So here we go. Off to the ovens, the probe and the lamb. Here we are, we're out of the oven, and here's our glorious leg of lamb, all ready. Now, a quick recap. We popped this in a 350 degree oven. We cooked it to 135. I used my little probe thermometer to give me that perfect temperature. Took around 2 hours, a little less. That's going to vary for your oven too. Everyone's ovens is different. So 135, we pulled it out. I tensed it loosely for about 15 minutes, and it went up to a little over 140, which is perfectly medium rare. You know what that's called, carryover cooking. So let's gonna have a little cut of this. Now this is gonna be our dinner, so I'm not going to dive into this as much as I'd like to. Now you might be intimidated by carving this, but don't be. It really isn't that difficult. you have the bone here. It goes in a straight line. You can just feel the knuckle underneath here. So the bone goes right here. So you can cut here and on this side. Now I'm just going to slice off a little right in front for you. Ooh, tender, lovely. Look at that. It's a little pink in it still, and that's okay. Oh, yeah. See how easy that is to carve. Now, we have friends, Jean and Sharon, and their daughter loves lamb. The first time they came to dinner, their daughter was 5, Abby, and we thought, how's she going to do with lamb? Well, turns out she's a lamb lover from the beginning. Now she's a sophomore in high school, and she was just texting me earlier, I can't wait to come over and have lamb for Easter. So we've built a great tradition with her. Everyone loves lamb, and I hope you will too. Now, I'm going to make that sacrifice I make for you every time I'm going to taste this for you. So let's just have this little piece, maybe this little piece too. Wow. Wow. That is delicious. Beyond delicious. You know what I have to have. This lamb is tender and juicy. That mustard and garlic and rosemary has really gotten in and infused the meat with flavor. And it's just unctuous and just a total celebration meal. I don't know what else to say except make this now because it is delicious. So that's our recipe this week. That's our show, roasted leg of lamb. I hope you're going to make it too. Now remember, as always, I'm going to have the recipe with all the measurements and instructions up in the comment section on YouTube like we always do. And continue to follow us on YouTube and on Facebook. Send us pictures, send us messages. We love hearing from you. We love those questions too. So don't forget to ask us all your burning questions. So that's our show for this week. We can't wait to see you again next time when you come back and come on in and let's celebrate. Cheers.